Hey guys, thank you for watching. In today's video we are going to compare this real TRAXXAS TRX4 against this fake TRAXXAS TRX4. But wait, I can hear you thinking, I see already a lot of differences between those cars. That's true. But when I bring it up close, you will see that a lot of parts from this car can fit on the TRAXXAS TRX4. Stay tuned. So guys, here are the two cars side by side. So in this video we are going to compare the real TRAXXAS TRX4 against the fake TRAXXAS TRX4. So we are going to look at all the plastic parts, but we are also going to remove some parts of the car, for example the diffs and the axles, to see if they are the same or if they can be interchanged with each other. So yeah, that's what we are going to do. So first we are going to look at the overall build of the car, and there are a lot of similarities. They both have got a metal chassis rails and U-shaped chassis rails, and they are pretty similar to each other. I took some measurements and yeah, I think they're the same. So another thing that I noticed are the fenders. So the fenders and the rock light position are almost identical, and also with the one screw mounting system. If you look at the chassis braces over here, they also look the same, and that's the same story in the rear. So the side steps of the car are almost identical. Well, the appearance isn't, but the screw holes and yeah, how they are fitted, they are just the same. Also, I saw some similarities with the linkage arm mounting system right over here. This is in exactly the same place in the real one as in the fake one. And also this little part that holds the cables, you will have them in the rear and in the front of the car. They are exactly on the same position as the chassis brace on this model. So another thing is the plastic. The plastic of this car, it feels pretty nice. It isn't bad quality, so I really like that. Of course the TRAXXAS is a little bit more sturdy, but this one is just like the flexible plastic, and I really like that on this car. So let's take a look at the rear of the cars. So at the rear of the car you can see a lot of similarities. If you look for example at the chassis brace over here, they are just identical and the screw holes line up exactly. Also the length of the rails are the same, the shape of the rails are the same. There's a chassis brace underneath here, they are just the same. You know, all the screw holes, they just line up perfectly to each other. So underneath the car you will find a lot of similarities. So the skid plates are the same, the side parts are exactly the same, all the screw holes mountings, they are just lining up. So the linkage arms are the same. Yeah, this has got a different shapes, but yeah, the plastic parts over here, they are identical. And if you look at all how the things they are mounted, they are just the same. If you look at the tires, they have got the same pattern. These tires are actually much better. This one, these are too hard and too stiff, so these are much better on this one. But the driveline of this car is amazing. I really love that. Both cars have got a 2-speed gearbox and remote diff locks. So the diff lock system on the TRAXXAS, you've got a little wire and 2 tiny servos mounted over there to unlock or lock the diffs. On this model you've got a tiny servo right over here to unlock or lock the rear diffs. But internally they are the same. So let me remove some bits and pieces and show you what's going on there. So I took apart the differentials and the portal axles, and this is what you will find inside. So there are a lot of similarities, but there are also a lot of differences from each other. For example, one thing to notice are the bearings. So TRAXXAS uses this rubber sealed bearings, which I prefer, and the HG one has got the normal steel bearings. And if you look at the shafts, the TRAXXAS one has got on each side a flattened side, and the HG one has got one hex side and one flattened side. And there are some slight changes in the design. So for example, this one from TRAXXAS has got a little bit of a round shape, and this one has got a little bit of a square shape, and therefore you cannot interchange this with each other. So this one will not fit onto the TRAXXAS, but the TRAXXAS one will fit on the HG one. So if you look at the tooth count and everything, they just line up. They have got exactly the same count of tooth, and the meshing is also the same. So yeah, that's funny to see. And if you look at the portal covers or the pumpkin covers, they look identical, but they don't fit exactly. You can fit the fake one on the TRAXXAS one, but the TRAXXAS one you cannot fit it onto the HG one, and that's because of the disengaging or the engaging of the locking system of the differentials. So if you look over here, you can also see a slight change. So the screws on the HG one are 2.0 hexes, and on this one it's got 1.5 hexes, but the bearings have got the same same sizes and everything. So yeah, they look pretty similar. If we feel to them, I think that the TRAXXAS has got a much smoother movement inside the portal axle housing than the HG one. The HG one is, yeah, it's a little bit hard to turn. I'm not sure what's going on there. I noticed it with this one also, so we have to check that. But yeah, the TRAXXAS one feels a little bit smoother than the HG one. So the side-by-side comparison of the TRAXXAS TRX4 and the HG P411. Both cars are pretty solid and pretty good, and yes, of course you will have some pros and cons. For example, what I really like about the TRAXXAS are the tires. The tires are much better than the HG ones, so that's a plus for the TRAXXAS. Another thing what I really like about the TRAXXAS are the bearings, because these are rubber sealed bearings and I prefer those against the steel bearings of the HG. Another thing what I really love about the HG is the whole driveline. All the metal shafts, yeah, I really like that. And also the sound of the driveline, I think this one sounds much better than the TRAXXAS one. Another thing what I really like about the HG one is the positioning of the motor and the servo. The weight of the motor and the servo is way in front of the car instead of the center, a little bit more to the front on the TRAXXAS one. So that's one thing to notice. Another thing are the shocks. So the shock retainers on this one are metal and the one on the TRAXXAS are made of plastic. And thing what I really like about the TRAXXAS is how they disengage or engage the div locks. Because the TRAXXAS one are using the tiny wire and the servos are mounted on underneath there. And the HG one, you've got a tiny servo mounted underneath the car. So yeah, I see that's going to damage when you're sliding over some rocks or going into some dirt and water. So yeah, they should change this one that it's sitting on the same position as the TRAXXAS one. So yeah, both cars has got pros and cons, and yeah, it's up to you which to buy. Alright guys, that was it for today. Thank you for watching. If you got any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below. Please subscribe to my channel and please keep supporting me.